All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Fantasy Slant. This is week 9. We're getting deep into it, so we've got to start making sure you guys are getting some wins here, and we can help you do that. So we're going to do that. John should be jumping on live from Tennessee here shortly, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Where did my chat window go? There it is. So we'll. Why is it hide chat overlay? I don't want to hide the chat. Thank you. All right. So we're going to go through these games, get your guys' questions in, and we will help you build the lineup to get you a W, right? Fantasy playoffs, they're coming up quick. They're coming up real quick. We do have some good bye weeks, while the 49ers bye week, that does hurt with Debo and Mason out. The promising side to that, maybe for those of us who drafted Christian McCaffrey first overall, we'll get him back in week 10, right? So quite the injury cover up there for the 49ers still. But yeah, that's what we got. So we're gonna have to navigate. We're gonna have to put some wins together for you, and we're gonna do that. So Travis, good morning. What's up, my man? Told you about them brownies. Yeah. Oh man, the Browns. They're something else. So but yeah, good weeks last week. Fantasy, not so much, but still hanging in there, hoping to get the studs back here and make that final push. Did lose a couple really close ones. Came down to Monday night and just couldn't hold on, which those are the gut wrenching ones. They really they're painful. But it's a new week, and we're gonna get into it. First off, Travis, you're here. Morning, buddy. Garrett Wilson's catch. We got to talk about this real quick before we dive into it. I think it was better than Odell's, but I'm curious to see what other people think on that one. That touchdown catch was fantastic. What an absolute catch. Has to be catch of the year at the very least. But man, it's got to be up there with Odell's three-finger catch as well. That was just special. What an absolute stud wide receiver that kid is. And it's funny because I was in I like to go into the Twitter spaces after the Jets Twitter space. Jets Twitter world is massive, or X, whatever you want to call it now, but massive. And people were in there just destroying the Jets after last week's loss to New England, and saying Garrett Wilson's not the guy. You can't give him a contract. He's not a number one. Like, man, that dude's he's special. He's special, and that was a hell of a catch. So let me know what you think of that catch and that game. It was good to see. It was good to see the Jets pull out a win, right? When I gave up hope on the season, and my emotions have been completely, and just sitting back watching the game in between. Watched a little bit before we went out trick or treating. Caught the second half when we got back. Weather was absolutely terrible up here in Seattle area, just cold, rainy, just bleh, not a great night. So thanks. So Halloween was kind of cut short for us, but I got to watch that game, got to see some of the plays, and good to see them. There's still a slight chance, but man, I don't know what it is. That's the second time they played the Texans, and the Jets have dominated the Texans last year and this year, which is kind of crazy for that good of a team, but it was awesome. Both his touchdown grab. Yeah, the other one-handed, his first one-handed one, and then quick change of direction and into the end zone was fantastic. But that other one with a couple fingers on the ball, brings it down and gets the shin down just in the nick of time with tight coverage was fantastic. So he's a stud player. He's an absolute stud, and he went off. Devontae Adams got his first touchdown. Brees Hall kind of took a back seat in that one, which was kind of disappointing to see, but and that Malachi Corley dropped touchdown, man. I was just watching that. I was like, here we go again. Another great Jets game is what I'm going to see here with that drop touchdown, and then rolls out of the end zone, barely rolls out the back of the end zone, just enough for it to be a touchback. Poor kid, first touchdown, and it's taken away on a great play. But overall, good game. Especially for fantasy, if you've got Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams getting their first touchdowns, was fantastic. But let's jump into these games that are upcoming this morning and help you put together a winning lineup. Maybe find some guys that you like in this one. So let's start it off with a game that should be good, and I'm sure it'll be a laugher. But Cowboys and the Falcons here. Cowboys at 3-4, Falcons at 5-3. You can get tickets to this one as low as $202 to go watch the Cowboys lose. So that's always a steal, I think, right? But lined up to be a good game. Atlanta is a 3.5 point favorite in this one, and I'd say rightfully so. Anytime you expect anything from the Cowboys, they're going to disappoint you. That's just what they do. But there should be a lot of scoring this one. Over under is 51.5. So probably I'm going to say one of the highest, if not it is the highest projected scoring game of the week at 51.5. So great opportunities for Rico Dowdle. He's going to be without Zeke, and they just called up Dalvin Cook is the backup, and we've seen Dalvin Cook, and I have seen Dalvin Cook extensively recently, and he's not good. So not really worried about that. Should be a really nice game for Dowdle now that Zeke is out of the game, out of the picture. This is a game that's going to be high scoring. It's going to be a lot of back and forth. Last game, he had a career high 5 catches in the game. So or maybe not a career high, but a season high. I don't know about career high. Season high 5 catches. So there's opportunity in PPR also to take advantage in this one, and especially with no third down threat to come in and spell him at all, should be a really nice opportunity. So if you have Rico, get him in there. Get Uncle Rico in. He's going to do good things. He might even throw it over a mountain. I don't know, but maybe they'll call a play. But yeah, great opportunity there. Dak, if you've got Dak, should still be a nice play there. Of course, CeeDee Lamb, you're going to start without fail. So there should be points scored for Dallas. Whether they win this game or not doesn't really matter because we're here for fantasy. On the Falcons side, again, this is tough. We talked last week about, is this the breakout game for Kyle Pitts? And it looks like it was. Right now, does that continue? That's a really hard thing to answer. We just don't. You just don't know week in and week out what you're going to get with Kyle Pitts, and you don't know what you're going to get with this offense. But again, you've got to start Pitts at tight end. You probably don't have a better option, and the upside is pretty big. I would start all your studs in this one. Start London, start Pitts, start Robinson. All should be nice plays this week. And a lot of high scoring in this one. So if you're doing DFS, this is a great one to look at as well, to have a little bit of exposure to, but not overexposure because it is going to be so heavily played. But I do think there's opportunities there. Speaking of opportunities, Dolphins at the Bills. Tua's back. They're in Buffalo here for this one, so should be a really tight game. I think with Tua being back on the field, they probably won't win this one. Buffalo is just firing on all cylinders, but I do really love Keon Coleman this week. So if he's out there, I just checked mine before I came on, and I actually was able to pick him up off of the waiver wire. So take a look for Keon Coleman this week with Shakir and Samuel out. Really good opportunities for Coleman to continue to grow. I'm surprised he was out there. He might not be out there in yours, but take a look because he is in a great spot to really explode this week against this Dolphins team. Really nice opportunities there. So take a look there, see what's out there. James Cook should have a nice game as well. On Buffalo side, or on the Dolphins side, everybody's in play in this one with Tua being back. Tyreek Hill, Waddle, running game, everything should be full go in this one. This is right behind the Cowboys game at 49.5. Buffalo's a 6-point favorite in this one. So I'm guessing Vegas is thinking Tua's got some rust, still not wearing his Guardian cap, which he should be doing if he wants to have a long career. But hey, can't force the guy to wear it, right? If I was the coach, I'd tell him you're not getting back on the field without it. But I'm not Mike McDaniel, so he could do whatever he wants. But that's a bad idea. Bills are going to be all over him, going to be pressuring him, and we'll see if he makes it out of this game alive. We'll see. But great opportunities on both sides in this one for fantasy as well. Start your Dolphins, Keon Coleman, James Cook. Great opportunities there for them. And of course, I don't have to tell you to start Josh Allen. If you are needing that, then man, get all the questions you want in there, and let's help you build a team. But Start your studs in this one as well. Keon Coleman, nice sleeper. Moving on. Raiders, Bengals. Raiders are terrible. Bengals, not much better. T. Higgins is out for this one. So that's going to cause, a little bit of a downgrade to that offense. Jamar Chase should still be a nice play for you this week, as he is the featured guy, and it's a major step down from T. Higgins to I don't even know how you say his last name. Andre Iguodala, we'll just call him. But there's a big drop down in wide receivers. So the other side of that, Zach Moss is out. So expect Chase Brown to have a really nice game this week as well. He's going to be very highly featured. I think the Bengals have to use the running game to get some balance and to free up some space for Jamar Chase. So I think Brown's in a really good spot to put up some numbers this week. He's a must start, I think, in this one, especially against the bad Raiders team without any competition. He's really, really well situated. Raiders side, not interested. Just Brock Bowers. Start him every week. Death, taxes, and Brock Bowers at this point. Three things you could count on. He had about 11 fantasy points last week. I know it's a bad offense, but they can't run it. They can't throw it. It's got to go to somebody. So I like Bowers a lot each and every week. He's an absolute stud. And for a tight end to come in year one into the hardest position to transition from college into, and to have this kind of success, he is going to just get better and better and better. And it's too bad he's going to waste it with the Raiders. But I digress. Really like him a lot this week. The running game, questionable in this one. Madison and Zamir White are in this. Madison should get the lead role in this one, but you don't know how much White is going to spell him. So if you're forced to, start Madison. If not, I would leave this one alone and let that split be what it is. And in this one, 45 points. Since he's a 7.5 point favorite at home, that feels pretty good. Yeah, start your guys in this one, but don't get crazy with the Raiders side or the Bengals side. Just keep it pretty simple to the Bengals running game. Jamar Chase, Brock Bowers in this one. Moving on, Travis, like you said, with them Brownies, Chargers at the Browns. What a difference getting a superstar quarterback out of the lineup that was Deshaun Watson and is no longer. Jameis Winston stepped in last week, and that team looked completely different. Absolutely. Night and day, right? Night and day from what it's been to start the season. They were 1-6. They are now 2-6. Thank you, Jameis. Just insane. That Browns team is a disaster. They are an absolute disaster, and they fully guaranteed Watson's contract. They owe him every dollar. And I don't know how you could start him again. Even when he is healthy, he looks terrible. Jameis comes in and just wins. And it was decisive. It wasn't a close battle. It was over, right? Like absolutely insane. Absolutely insane what the Browns do. And they are going to be so hamstrung on money with having to carry that contract and worry about a quarterback situation that I don't see a good way out for them. Bad situation, right? I mean, I guess you hope to draft a quarterback in the first round, have him cheap for a couple years, try to get this Watson contract off the books. I don't know. Browns are in a bad spot, but they're always in a bad spot, so it doesn't really make a difference. But in this one, I don't love. You start Chubb. Chubb's looking better each and every week. Ford is back as well, so he's going to spell him. But for the most part, Chubb's going to be your guy there. Elijah Moore had a pretty nice game last week. That could be a guy to keep an eye on to see if Jameis Winston continues to target him. Actually, would like to go back to last week and take a look at the stats in that one. Let's take a peek, because I didn't see the final stats. So Nick Chubb last week was 16 for 52. Deontay Foreman is inactive this week. So like I said, you're not going to lose touches there, but Ford is back to replace him. Winston ended up going 27 for 41, 334, and 3 touchdowns. So another nice spot if you need a quarterback, Jameis Winston. If he's out there, might not be bad. Cedric Tillman actually was the yardage leader, but Elijah Moore was the receptions leader. So Cedric Tillman, 7 for 99, 2 touchdowns. Elijah Moore, 8 for 85. Jerry Judy, 5 for 79, and Njoku, 5 for 61. So Jameis is spreading the ball around. So yeah, Cedric Tillman, Elijah Moore, maybe Jerry Judy becomes that target in DFS. It's not a bad dart throw at all against a Chargers defense that has not been very good. So that could be a really nice play as well. So there are options as far as that goes this week. Um, on the Charger side of the ball, you're going to start Dobbins. You have to start Dobbins. He's a stud. Um, but he has been cooling off. So I guess I shouldn't say he's a stud, but he has been cooling off. But from the Chargers side, he's still the lead back without doubt there. A lot of injuries still remain for the Chargers, but Quentin Johnston's probably your top guy. If you're really desperate in this one, he has been playing a little bit better, but not anything fantastic. I'm going to pull up his stats and just kind of take a look as we're going. Looks like Lad McConkle or McConk Lad McConkey at 376 yards is the receiving leader. So doesn't give you a whole lot of warm fuzzies there, but yeah, they're all bad. They're all bad. Josh Palmer's got 243 yards on the season. Quentin Johnston only has 164. Not good. McConkey is definitely the go-to there with 30 receptions on 45 targets. He's got at least 17 more targets than the next closest guy, which is Will Disley. And yeah, about 130 yards more than any other receiver on the team. So there's your guy there, but I would just stay away from it completely. Not worth your time there unless you were absolutely hamstrung. And if you are, get your questions in and let's go through it and let's take a look at what the options are, the matchups, and what your best outcome could be moving forward. John was supposed to be jumping on and joining us, but we're 20 minutes in, and I don't see him yet. So he is in Tennessee attending the game against the Patriots. Why you would waste money to do that, I don't know. But hey, he does what makes him happy against the Titans. So with that, looks like a beautiful day down there for him, at least 79 degrees, which is great. Tennessee is a 3-point favorite. I don't agree with that one. I think the Patriots will win this. But perfect question, so I don't have to talk about the Patriots. Thank you, Kyle. And thanks for jumping on, Kyle Singer. I haven't seen you before. I don't think you've been on, but thank you for stopping by. Smash that like, smash that subscribe, come back each week. Full PPR, Love or Cousins, Dobbs or McMillan, Bengals or Chargers. Worried about the rain in Green Bay. Okay, so I'm definitely going Cousins right off the bat there. Whether that should be a tight game. Lions defense is good. I don't. It's not showing projected rain, 52 and cloudy, but coming off of an injury, that's going to be a high scoring game. But I do really like that Cowboys Falcons game as well. So, and it is also the highest projected scoring. So I'm going to lean that way in that one. Dobbs or McMillan? Whew. Is that the only two options that are out there? Like I said earlier, I don't know if you were watching, but Keon Coleman, if he's out there on the waiver wires, that could be it. That's a fantastic pickup for this week in that Bills Dolphins game. If I had to pick between the two, man, the bad thing is I know McMillan has got an injury designation, and that's Monday night. Which it's not showing, but I did grab him in a league and I saw he has an injury designation. So I'm probably going to go with Dobbs for safety there. And yeah, is that for Keon Coleman? Yeah, because if he's there, I would start him over both of those. Bengals and Chargers for defense. Those are two bad defenses too, bud. I would probably go with the Bengals at home. I don't care for the Chargers defense. That's a tough one as well. But where did I go here? Yeah, the way the Browns played last week, I don't trust it with if it was Watson back there. Chargers would be a lot better, but Jameis just went ballistic last week, and the Chargers defense on the road, early game, traveling. I don't love it, so I would go with the Bengals at home against that Raiders team. So, but yeah, if you do have a better option at wide receiver, drop those in there. Let me know. But I would probably lean Dobbs just because of the McMillan status. And let me see if I could find that real quick. Which league do I have him in? See if I can get lucky quickly. No, or I could just search for him, I suppose. Let me see. What was his issue? There it is. Questionable hamstring. Was limited at Saturday's practice and subsequently was limited and questionable for Monday's game. So late addition to the injury report, which is not a good thing, which means he may have got hurt on Saturday. So I would probably stay away from him completely with that situation. Not the best there. So Kyle, hopefully that helps you. I would go, like I said, Cousins, Dobbs, Bengals defense. Best matchups there for you. So, but yeah, if there are other options out there on the waiver wire, drop them in and let's go through it and see what we think. And make sure you come back, subscribe, like it, hang out with us every Sunday morning. And typically there's two of us. So again, John is sitting down in Tennessee right now, probably wasted tailgating and forgot that he was supposed to do this. So thanks, John. I'll yell at you next Sunday. Patriots and Titans. I do think the Patriots are going to win this game. May looked pretty good, even against the Jets before he got hurt, was looking good. I don't trust Mason Rudolph at all. The Titans traded away their best weapon in DeAndre Hopkins, so they're down there. The running game, Pollard's back, but Spears is out, so Pollard should get a good workload, but he is not 100%. So take that with a grain of salt. Patriots are not that great of a team anyway, so there is opportunities there for Pollard. But I do think that the Patriots will pull this one out with controlling the ground game. And I just think the Titans defense is good. I don't expect a lot of passing, but I do think they try to wear them out on the ground and then create some wins. So low scoring game in this one, but I think the Patriots pull it out just because they got the better quarterback. Defenses are pretty close, but I would give the Titans the edge there. Running game, I would give to probably the Patriots for health, and wide receivers, blah, they both suck. So not crazy there. But give me the Patriots, and really the only person I'm thinking about is Pollard in this one. Maybe Stevenson if you're really desperate dart throw type of thing, but yeah, that's the two pieces there. Otherwise, leave this one alone. Don't mess with it. Don't love it. Let's go to the next 10 o'clock game. 10 o'clock on the West Coast, 1 o'clock for you East Coasters, and somewhere in between for the middle of the country. Commanders traveling up the road to the Meadowlands to play the Giants. 6-2 Commanders, 2-6 Giants. I think we all know which way this game's going. Jaden Daniels, play him. The key here is Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler should be the lead running back in this game. Nice position for him to be in. Catches a lot, does a lot on the ground. When he did have opportunities there in San Diego and LA, but expect to see a good game from him this week against this Giants team. I think he's in a really good spot. So if you are hunting for a running back to throw in to a flex or your running back spot, Eckler, good chance he's out there on the waivers. And I didn't look for that, but let's take a look real quick and see what his availability is. Austin Eckler is 75% rostered, so yeah, probably not getting him, but actually he is available in one of the leagues. So let's see if yeah, nice. I'm going to add him as I'm talking to you guys, and I'm throwing him into my flex spot. So if I'm going to talk it, I might as well walk it. So Austin Eckler is now my flex player in one of my leagues. So check that out. See if he's out there. 75% chance that he's not. But hey, got him in one. So and I have 4 leagues. So I guess carry the 2. That makes sense. So nice spot here. Of course, start start your wide receivers for the Commanders because Daniels is just catching everybody there. Giant side, you're going to start Neighbors. That's without a doubt. Tracy is past cleared concussion protocol and he's 100%. So that kid is underrated and an absolute stud. I don't know what he's got to be fully owned at this point, but actually he's 69% rostered. I don't know how that is. I own him in two and he's taken in the other ones. But if if Tyrone Tracy is available in your leagues, grab him. Grab him before the game start and get him in because even against a really good Pittsburgh defense, he still put up like 130 yards last week. So uh, the kid he's a really good running back. And because he's on the Giants, I don't think a lot of people are taking notice to that, but really, really good. And this, I mean, Washington Giants, that's always a tough game. So I expect a lot of this to be on the ground. That's why I like Austin Eckler. I like Tracy in this one. Both really, really well positioned to put up some really nice numbers this week. And Washington's only a 4-point favorite. So even though they're 6-2 and have been playing really well, the Giants play them really tough. So Vegas is not sleeping on this one at all. But yeah, capture the ground game. Neighbors and Scary Terry are going to be your main guys in this one, right? So start them and start the running game. But Commanders should pull this one off. They're better all around. I know it's a home game for the Giants, but I'm gonna give it to the Commanders in this one, in a close one. Next up, Saints Panthers, disgusting game. Obviously, the one focal point in this game that I'm just going to talk about is Alvin Kamara. Like every single running back is hurt in New Orleans, so Kamara's the guy in this game, just period dot. Absolutely going to dominate. So if you're going against him, I feel bad for you. I haven't looked, but I am probably playing against him in every league because that is typically my luck. But he is going to have a great game because there's no other options. Right? He catches everything. He's running like he did a couple years ago. He looks fantastic against a really bad Panthers team. So Kamara, that's the only piece there. If you're desperate, Leggett for Carolina. If you're desperate, right? Don't really love any of it, especially with Bryce Young starting again. It's going to be a disaster. So it's Kamara and Kamara and Kamara in this one. And that's all you need to know. You can actually catch this game for $19. So if anybody is down there in the Carolinas, you got 30 minutes to head down to the stadium and grab a ticket for $20 and a beer for 21. All right, Broncos, Ravens. This one, Broncos traveling to Baltimore. It is an early game. I still think that has an effect on the teams traveling over there, but Broncos surprise team, right? I think there's no other way to say that. They were horrific for the last 2 years. Draft a young quarterback. They're 5-3. Should they be? I don't know. That's a completely different story. But they're playing well. Baltimore, they laid an egg last week, but I don't expect them to continue to do that. 9-point favorites, but there's some good opportunities in this one. It's just really hard with the Broncos because you just don't know who to target, right? I mean, they're spreading the ball around. Sutton, the running game. It's really hard to say which way to go in this one. The Ravens side, obviously, Derrick Henry is an absolute stud, uh, but the Ravens are a hard team to peg down. They could go with likely. Mark Andrews had been picking it up, not so much last week. Zay Flowers again picking it up, nothing last week. So Rashad Bateman 2 weeks before that went ballistic. So it's really hard with the Ravens. It's hard to give advice on who to start on that side. Really dark throw. So I'd love to tell you who to start in this one. I just don't know. Nobody knows. So start Derrick Henry, right? Derrick Henry will produce, but outside of that, could it be Flowers? Could it be Bateman? Could it be Andrews? Could it be likely? Could it be a third tight end? I just don't know. I just don't know. I'm sorry. Um, you probably don't have better options than Mark Andrews at tight end. If you do, great. Go with what's comfortable. But uh, nice opportunities here in this game. I just don't know which way to go. So I apologize, but it's the Ravens. Like they do it to us. I'm not doing it to you. They're doing it to us. But yeah, Ravens should win this game. Derrick Henry should have a nice one. And 9-point favorites feels pretty good. So we'll see how that one plays out at home. It's a tough place to play in Baltimore. So, all right, we'll keep going here. Now we're getting into the late games. So, Jaguars at the Eagles. Poor Jaguars. I don't know if Travis is still here, but Jaguars they're banged up. Tank Bisbee is questionable, but he should be okay in this one. He's got an ankle injury. Etienne is also questionable. If he doesn't play, you love Tank in this one because he's kind of their best option. Kirk is out. Who else? They have a bunch. Let me jump over here real quick, make sure I've got it correct. 4 p.m. games. Yeah, Tank's questionable. Travis is questionable. Gabe Davis is questionable. Yeah, he's still going to be a game time decision. Christian Kirk is out. Brian Thomas has been ruled out. So I don't, Travis. Who would they throw in the ball to at this point? I'm not quite sure. I love Tank Bigsby in this one, just because there's no other options, right? Like Tank should have a great game as long as that ankle holds up, but I think he can. Yeah, I saw Thomas was out. Let me update this and see if I got a tweet about him being out. Let me see if it's updated. It still says questionable, but maybe it was unlikely that he was going to play. But yeah, I mean, I don't know who they're gonna. I have no idea who he's going to throw the ball to. Um, yeah, Ingram. Okay. Yeah, he could have a good game, but I just not a good spot for the Jaguars at all against the Eagles at home. Um, Travis, probably not expecting a win on this one, are we? I mean, I hope not, but we'll see what happens. The Eagles have been disappointing, even though they're 5-2. They have not played very well, but it is a home game. Jaguars are just decimated with injuries. So I would say Parker Washington. Okay, let's check this out. Let's jump in here real quick. Because to be fair, I don't think anybody really outside of you really pays attention to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we do need you in here. Let me see. So Brian Thomas, of course, is 593 yards. Kirk 300. Let's see. Parker Washington, 9 targets, 6 receptions, 67 yards. That's not really that's not really encouraging, Travis. Let's see. Obviously, he hasn't been getting a lot behind the studs there that are here, but let's see. Nothing fantastic for him. 16 receptions, 21 targets, 132 yards last year. This year, 9 for 67. So, yeah, not great opportunities there in Jacksonville. So, I would avoid that. I love Tank in this one. As far as the Eagles side goes, you know who to start in that one. I don't need to tell you. Um, but if you do have a question, ask who should I start on the Eagles, and we'll go into that. But yeah, we'll address that one as it comes up. Start Tank, start your studs on the Eagles, and you should be okay there. And lose by 17 might. I was going to say more like 10 to 12, but they are 7.5-point favorites. So I guess either way, you should be okay. All right. Bears at the Cardinals. I think this is going to be a very entertaining game. It's a 44-point spread. I think it's going to be higher than that. So I think this one's got some shootout built into it. So Caleb Williams has been playing better. Okay, 5 for 55 for Washington. All right, we'll keep an eye on it and see how he does. And I guess, yeah, there's no other option. So I guess there's a pretty good chance he at least gets 5 for 55. But yeah, Bears, Caleb Williams has been playing much better as of late. Tough team to try to predict. This kind of goes back to when we're talking about the Ravens and who's going to get the ball, because the Bears are the same way. If you start Keenan Allen, he's going to do shit. If you bench him, he's going to score 2 touchdowns, right? I mean, there's just DJ Moore is his guy. You could start DJ Moore with confidence because he looks for him all the time. Roam, not he's that's all he's doing on the field is just roaming around. So not really involved in that game. And the running game is doing fantastic. DeAndre Swift is a must start each week. He has breakout potential every time he touches the ball, and it's so nice to see somebody is finally appreciating his talent. Detroit didn't, Philly didn't, the Bears are. So he's looking really good there. Arizona's side, Kyler's looking good. That team is still young, developing. Marvin Harrison Jr. is probably the most frustrating fantasy player that I could think of this year outside of Christian McCaffrey, but you drafted Harrison as your number one. You probably took him if you're anything like me or most of us, right? He went mid second round. So you probably went wide. You probably went running back first, and then he was your first wide receiver on the way back. That's been disappointing, right? He just for some reason is not putting up numbers that he should be putting up with Kyler Murray. Like I think we all saw the potential there, but it just isn't translating on the field yet. But a lot of potential in this game. Also, Trey McBride from a tight end standpoint, really nice, really nice player there. He is healthy. Kyler looks for Trey McBride a lot. So in this game, those two guys you kind of have to go with. Running game, you can always count on Connor to at least get you some yards, maybe punch in a touchdown. So those are great opportunities as well. So the running game should be okay in this one. Love the Bears side. And Trey McBride for the tight end. I don't know if Komet's going to do anything. Again, he could put up 100 plus yards and 2 touchdowns, or he can get you one catch for 5 yards. So he's the Bears, very frustrating team to try to figure out from fantasy, but should be a good game. And I think it's going to be high scoring. So lean the way your gut's telling you if you're going between Bears players, but it's too hard to say which way it's going to go. So Robbie, good morning. What's up, Keon Coleman? No, that's not my name. I'm not Keon Coleman. All right. So Keon Coleman or Quentin Johnston? Without a doubt, Keon Coleman. Great position with wide receivers on the Bills just completely banged up and decimated. He has been ascending, and he is going to be the focal point today. So love Keon Coleman today. Amari Cooper's out, but last time the Bills played the Dolphins, James Cook controlled the game, so I'm skeptical on Coleman. Now, Tua's back in this one. So Tua was out last time they played, I do believe. So with Tua being back, I expect the Dolphins offense to be somewhat formidable, right? I don't know how rusty he's going to be, but they have to be better than they have been. So I expect this game to be closer, and I expect more through the air to be able to go head to head in this one. So again, Keon Coleman is in a fantastic spot. And if we go back to the inactive list here for that game, here we go. So yeah, with Cooper is out. Curtis Samuel, he is active now, but he's got a pectoral injury. I don't think there's a lot there. And Shakir is going to be there as well. But I just think Keon Coleman is climbing that ladder, and he is looking like an absolute stud. So love Keon Coleman in this one. Quentin Johnston, there's better options out there, even if you didn't have Coleman. So I don't even think he's not even the first or second option in the Chargers lineup. So when we were just looking at those numbers, he's like third or fourth on the depth on the stat chart there. So yeah, so good luck, Robbie. Again, come back, join us each week, and we'll help you get those wins. And if not, come back and yell at me. It's fine. Not going to be right every time, but it makes a lot of sense. So let's keep going. Lions and the Packers. So this is going to be a fun game to watch as well. We'll see what Jordan Love looks like as he is coming back from a bit of an injury there, if he's going to be able to keep up with the Lions. Obviously, losing Aiden Hutchinson has affected their pass rush, but the Lions, I mean, they just put up 52 points last week, right? I mean, just dominated. Um, Very good offense, and yeah, the defense still was great. They had a pick six in that game. Just really good. So Lions are looking fantastic. Packers looking fantastic. This is a huge game though for both of them. It's a division game. 6-1 Lions, 6-2 Packers. There is a ton on this one, right? That is a really tough NFC North, which hasn't been that way for years, right? It's been like the Packers at the top, Minnesota trying to hang on, and the Bears and the Lions just getting run through like a train. So um, things have changed in the North, right? So it's good to see that competition up there. All three of those teams are doing fantastic. All four of those teams are doing fantastic up there. But this is a huge game in that division, so I expect this one to be a fantastic one to watch in the afternoon. Packers side starts Jacobs. He was on the injury list, but I think, let's see. Josh Jacob has an ankle injury, but missed practice early in the week, but appears in line to play. So, and Jordan Love should be playing. The big question is, with that groin injury, what's his mobility going to look like in this game? And if they can get pressure on him, that can completely disrupt everything that they're doing, make this a very one sided dimensional game, and only have a running game available, which would be tough from that standpoint, right? Because then the Lions can hone in on Josh Jacobs, shut him down, and force Jordan Love to have to sit in the pocket, which is going to get him hit a lot more. And then does he make it through this game, right? So that's the big worry in this one. Does he get knocked out of the game early again? And from a fantasy perspective, that you can't lose your quarterback. That's going to end your week right there. So if you have other options, I would still kind of shy away from Jordan Love this week until we know that groin injury looks okay. I don't love it, but if you have no other options, I get it. It's a great matchup, and you know, he's looking okay. Statistically, he's playing well, but what does it do for him if he can't come through this game? So, yeah, start your Lions. I'm in Ross St. Brown. Start everybody on the Lions. The only real thing that bothers me with this one is Jordan Love's health. That can completely destroy your Packers wide receivers, your running game, and your week if you're starting Jordan Love. So be careful with that one. If you've got a better option, great. If you're on the fence, drop it in. Let me know what your options are, and let's talk and see what those matchups look like. But it's a little nerve wracking, especially leaving the game early last week. And a groin injury does not heal quickly, and it just completely zaps your ability to move. So, really, really nervous about that one. So, do what you need to do. Give me the Lions in this one to win it, but that's going to be a fun game to watch, definitely, especially if Love can stay healthy through it. All right, next one up here is the Rams and the Seahawks. Lot of injuries on the Seahawks side, and kind of the opposite. The Rams are getting healthier. Let me jump down here real quick. So yeah, DK is of course out. Noah Fant is out as well. Puka is questionable in this one. He's back on the injury report with a knee injury. However, he did travel with the team and appears in line to play. So should have Puka. He's probably just going to deal with injuries for the rest of the season. Just kind of seems like where it's at right now. And Jordan Whittington is questionable, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I think losing DK, that's a big blow, and then losing Noah Fant on top of it, even bigger. That does put Jackson Smith and Jigba into a nice spot. It also puts Tyler Lockett into more targets. Lockett not having the greatest season, but JSN can really put some stuff together if he can get him the ball. So he's had some really nice games. They just don't target him a lot. But with DK and Fant out, I think it's a really nice spot for them to really try to feature him, and they're going to have to. The running game will still be the focal point of this attack, is what I'm expecting. So I'm thinking you're going to see Kenneth Walker. You're going to see a nice full glass of Chardonnay. Um, I think the two of them are going to just try to wear down that defensive line and give Gino some time later in the game to put some stuff together. But running game in this one should be fine on both sides. Looking good. This is a home game, so of course Seattle's loud. We all know that, but the Rams just kind of less beat up at this point. So um, I would tilt the Rams on this one. Cooper Cup, Puka, you're still going to start them even with his knee injury. Puka's still fantastic. Williams from the running game, I would start Kenneth Walker in this one, and I'm looking at JSN to have a big game in this one. So if you need a third running wide receiver, JSN's in a really good spot with DK out to really take a lot of that pressure that Gino's going to be getting because he does work out of the slot a lot. So he's going to get a lot of dump offs and quick passes, things of that nature. So I like him in this one. And then going into Sunday night, Colts versus the Vikings. Let's talk about this Anthony Richardson thing real quick. Absolutely, and of course it's been talked to death, but how as an athlete at any level, like I don't understand this, but how you can say you're too tired to make a play at quarterback. Like, take a 3-step drop and throw the ball. Like, if you're tired, like you don't have to get crazy, right? But to take yourself out of the game, that is insane because you're tired. Like, he's a terrible quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I think at one point he was like 5 for 30 for passing or something. It was horrific last week. He's terrible. Uh, but Joe Flacco's back, which brings Michael Pittman back to life, which is fantastic. So um, it's good for people who took Michael Pittman higher in the draft to actually be able to play him. So you should be playing Michael Pittman with Falco, not Shane Falco, with Flacco back in the mix. I expect a good game from Pittman. Jonathan Taylor is not on the injury report, so he is back. So that gives them a huge boost as well. Outside of that, like, not really dart throwing for the next person on the Colts, but start Pittman, start Taylor, especially with Flacco back in that game, gives them great balance. The Vikings are a much better team overall, so I do expect them to win this game. But with Flacco, which is crazy to say, that he gives them a better chance to win. So that's going to be a good one. But of course, start your guys on the Vikings. Sam Darnold's having a fantastic run. Love it. Love seeing him find success, especially as a failed Jets quarterback. It just brings me so much joy to see Gino and Sam Darnold and probably Zach Wilson next year just leading a team to the playoffs. So just warms my heart in the most sarcastic way. But I am happy for him. I like Sam. I wish it would have worked out better, but it's good to see him finding success. So yeah, with the Vikings, I don't need to tell you start Justin Jefferson, like, obviously. But yeah, good opportunities here. Sam Darnold's still a good quarterback for fantasy, especially with the weapons that he has around him. So a nice play as well there, but I like both sides. Mark, what's up, man? Halfway through the season recap. Let's see. Mark, if you guys don't know, big Bills fan. So we like to go back and forth, especially on this show, with John being a Patriots fan, me being a Jets fan, Mark being a Bills fan. He likes to rub it in. So let's see where this goes. Bills will regress. I like the start of this. Miami or Jets were taking the division this year. That's all I heard all offseason. Reality, Bills still. Oh, never mind. Bills still own the division. East looks like one of the worst divisions in the NFL outside of the Bills. It's okay, Joe. You, John, and Jim can enjoy planning for the draft super. Mark, let's be honest with you. I start planning for the draft every year super early. So, yeah, that's just my reality. My NFL season has the off season is my season. That's where I get excited about the draft, the players that we sign, and then I just watch that all disintegrate from September to November 1st. And at that point, it's typically over with. And then I start looking at what quarterbacks are coming out in the draft and start paying attention to that draft position and stuff like that. So that's kind of how my NFL season goes each and every year. Super high, super hyped. We're going to have a great year. And then that quickly gets dissolved and destroyed. And then I go into next year finding out who the next quarterback of the New York Jets are going to be. That's my life. So, but I did appreciate the Halloween game. That was it was nice to watch when I have no hope left for the season, no excitement, no passion. Just sat back and watched the game and enjoyed it. Enjoyed two fantastic Garrett Wilson touchdowns. So, Deo, Deo. I'll just stick with Deo. What's up, man? Good to see you. Glad to see the Twitch stream is picking up. That's awesome. Thank you for checking it out. I hope you're following us and you come back each week. Trying to figure out my lineup. Pick one for running back and one flex. Kareem, Monty, Downs, MHJ. Currently leaning Kareem, my running back, and Downs as my flex. Well, I mean, I'd have to say Monty needs to be one of them against the Packers. Like that's going to be a game that's back and forth and really tight. And Montgomery is just fantastic. I like the thought process with Kareem. And Downs is also a nice option with Flacco back in things. I just don't know what that's going to look like with Pittman as well. There's a lot of targets there. And MHJ, you probably weren't watching a little while ago, and I was talking about how frustrating of a pick that is because I own him in a league as well, and he is just like feast or famine. He's really tough. I kind of would go Kareem and Monty, to be honest with you. They're in great opportunities there. Downs is going to be fighting with Pittman and Jonathan Taylor for touches in that one. And God, I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. could absolutely blow up in this game. I mean, I like I said, I expect this to be higher scoring than 44.5 points. Both of these offenses have been looking pretty good. But man, yeah, I'd go Kareem and Monty in this one. That's the easiest picks there. And the safest choices until we see Marvin Harrison Jr. start doing something. But I do think that would be the way I would go in this one, just because the competition for Downs is going to be a little bit harder than Montgomery and Hunt in this one. So that's done. Final answer. Kareem, Monty, send it. All right, so Colts, Vikings, finish that one up. And now let's talk last game. We got 5 minutes left. Ran through the whole thing. If you've got questions, get them in now. Get your last minute questions. We'll get through it quickly. But Bucks and Chiefs. Chiefs should win this game at home. Buccaneers are a feisty team, though. They're 4-4. They play hard. Of course, losing the two best wide receivers that they have is not a great spot to be going into the Chiefs, but I do like their running game in this one. I think Bucky Irving and Rashid White should get a lot of play and a lot of dump offs, a lot of catches for Rashid White. Unfortunately, I was forced to bench him because I just had better options this week, which is a good problem to have, but I do think that's going to come back and haunt me. I just feel it in my gut. And it's not going to go well. But should get some really good touches from the run game. They're going to want to control the clock. If you're the Buccaneers, you want to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. You do that by running the ball. So I expect a lot of runs in this one. McMillan being injured and the best wide receiver option, I just don't love it, right? So Chiefs should be really good in this one. And that goes back to my point. If they're up, a lot of Kareem Hunt, right? And they're not going to be throwing the ball a lot. Don't expect a lot of that if this game plays out that way. Kareem Hunt should be running the clock out in this game and just putting things to bed. So do like it a lot. He's got a couple weeks now in this offense to get conditioned. I think he's in a really nice spot this week. So that goes through it. Give me the Chiefs in this one to win. 9-point favorites. 45-point over under. This is really too bad because if this game would have happened 3 weeks ago with Mike Evans, with Chris Godwin, what a game this would be. What an absolute fun Monday Night Football game this would be. Unfortunately, for the Bucks, and I'm not going to write them off because Baker Mayfield has pulled off some pretty amazing games. But man, they've got an uphill climb in this one. But should be a really fun game to watch, though, overall. And would love to see a Chiefs wide receiver really start to take the number one spot. Like, who is the number one guy going to be? We talked about it earlier with Baltimore. Like, you never know who it's going to be. At least with the running game, you know it's Kareem Hunt. But is it going to be Worthy? Is it going to be Juju Smith when he's back? Like, who's going to be the guy that you can count on week in and week out with the Chiefs? Even Travis Kelsey has not been fantastic, so it's been spread around pretty even. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with the Chiefs. But yeah, Chiefs should win this one. I like Hunt in this one, and I like the running game for the Bucks. Outside of that, pretty thin overall for the wide receivers in this one. But Mark, I love the card collection. Yeah, thank you, buddy. Thank you. I know it doesn't really go with football talk, but there was a lot more football cards in there. But I've just been getting better baseball stuff and adding to it. So yeah, need some room. This is my only space left in the house. So the wife's taken over everything. So had to make myself a little display so I could sit up here and realize that my life has now shrunk down to this wall. Such is life. Wow. I have this room. I have this one room left that has been untouched, and she has been just chiseling away, trying to get me to get rid of stuff in here and start moving other stuff in. And she's tried to take this room several times. And I'm like the 300 there, just in the canyon, just holding as long as I can before I give it up. But yeah, so that's it. So it is 10 o'clock my time, 1 o'clock East Coast. Games are now going to be kicking off. So I do hope that you guys got some good advice. We'll see how everything plays out. Please come back next Sunday and chat with me. Keep me company as we're going through this, and let's put together some winning lineups, get you to the playoffs, and win you some money. So best of luck, guys, to your teams. Have a great week, and we will see you again